Bro, no bullshit. This is legit the third time I've recorded a full video and I realized my mic was turned off. So I'm gonna get straight into it. Why you have no motivation. Now, who am I and why am I talking about this? As you can clearly see right here, if you don't know, that's me. This is also me. This is also one hell of a stud. But this was me. And this wasn't even that long ago. All right. This exact picture was 2022. So you might say, oh man, that was a minute ago. But I'm here to tell you right now, there wasn't much of a difference between this was February of 2022. So from here to February of 2023, there was not that much of a difference, bro. I'm here to tell you right now. I might have lost like 2 or 3 pounds, but trust me, not much change from this picture. So as you can see, it's clearly someone who struggled with doing hard work. All right? I struggled with doing the things that I needed to do, and instead I was constantly pulled by negative habits. I was constantly pulled to do negative things. I was constantly pulled to do self-destructing habits. And as you can see, I wrote here, I pretty much reversed exactly what I just said. I went from being that guy who, was more inclined to do stuff like eat chips and lay in bed and watch TV or things that I shouldn't be watching, playing video games, to now I'm constantly being pulled to do healthy, good, hardworking habits. Like making these presentations. You got to remember, no one is paying me to do this. This is genuinely out of the desire in me to help out men who were once just like this guy, because I don't see a whole lot of it. Like I see there's obviously self-improvement YouTubers out there, but a lot of them are usually people who are like real skinny twigs, you know what I mean? Like nerds. Like as you can see here, I'm still down bad, but I'm fat. And what, as you can see, I'll show you what really, I don't even have to show you. You could literally see it right here. A big change was getting rid of all that fat and leading down into this. All the self-improvement YouTubers I see are talking about putting on size, putting on mass. For me, it was the exact opposite. But that, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that later. For now, let's continue with this topic, motivation. So as you can see right here, listening on video games and corn, we all know our bad habits. If you've been on self-improvement YouTube long enough, you know. I don't need to tell you. All right, long story short, if you're addicted to playing video games, if you're spending hours on end, you are literally wasting your life. You are wasting your life. I'm not saying that, it's on the levels of heroin where you'll die early or, you'll get a heart attack, but you are wasting hours of your life because you're locked in your room, you smell like dog shit, you're not leveling up any sort of way in the real world, and you're pretty much being like almost hypnotized, dude. That's the scary thing about video games. Right, video games aren't like movies. Video games and TV shows are on the same exact level because they're both like they're not the same when you first look at them, but they're both highly addictive and it's like a lot of it. The way for me to put it is like a video game, you're the one actively in the story. You're tricked to like actively being a part of the story. As opposed to a movie where it all just plays out within the 1, 2, maybe 3 hour time span. So in the video games, it could take tens, hundreds of hours. And the game, because it is a video game, you're like tricked. It's almost like your mind is tricked into like, oh, this is my story. When in reality, you haven't left your room in the past 3 days and you smell like dog shit and you just suck. And I'm not saying this to belittle you. I'm saying this because what the fuck do you think this guy was doing? Huh? What do you think this guy wasted all of his time doing? Why do you think he looks like that? What do you think is one of the reasons why he looks like that? Because he was wasting time. Look at where I'm at anyway. In my room. What the fuck do you think I was doing before I did this? Before I took this picture? Honestly, I kind of respect this guy for even having the courage to not only take this picture, but to not instantly delete it. Like, I'm surprised this picture even exists. Like, I don't know what I was thinking to where I let myself, because this is embarrassing, man. The only reason why I'm able to show this right now is because this picture's right here. I would never post this. I would never let people see me like this had there not been an after, a transformation picture. But to go back to what I was saying about video games, you do have motivation. All right. If you're addicted to video games, you have motivation. You desire things like conquest, exploration, conquering. It sounds like a crazy word, but it's a natural masculine desire of ours, to claim our kingdom, to leave our mark on the world. And that's what I meant earlier. Like I've never, in my personal experience, I've heard people have nice stories about video games, like, "Oh, my mom used to play this video game, or my dad," which in that case, if it's like a family thing, then that's cool. Like, if it's something that you guys share together, I'm not saying you should be playing it every single day, but, it's cool when other people are involved. Like, let's just say if you had a bunch of friends come over, you guys all played Mario Kart and actually had a good time. That's dope. You know what I mean? Because it's social and you guys are actually having fun. Whereas when you're just playing video games every single day, you're not even fucking enjoying it, dude. You're not even enjoying it. At least with movies, I've seen plenty of times people say like, "Oh, this movie changed my life." Very recently, I saw a beautiful comment under the Dark Knight theme song, like the Dark Knight main theme on YouTube. It was this lady. I'm pretty sure she was a lady. She mentioned how this movie basically changed her life. Like she was broke. I think she was homeless. She ended up going to college. I think she got like her master's in, I don't remember what it was, but she basically flipped her whole life around and she credited it to the Dark Knight movie. And that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So like to see that is like, wow, that's dope as fuck. And there's a difference because at least with movies, it's just 2 hours. Now that's still a lot of time, and I'm not saying you should be watching movies every single day. But 2 hours is a lot different compared to a video game where it's like 30, 40, 50. Even some video games, like I don't know if it's Souls games or what type of games, but it's like hundreds of hours on end. Like that's bad. All right. Because all those hours spent, you don't gain anything. You don't learn anything. Nothing of value comes to your life as a result. And you don't even really enjoy it. All right. If we were to film you playing a video game, you're going to look like this. Probably like this. Mouth breathing. Like it's just terrible. And then corn. It's the same thing. I mean, not the same. No, it's still bad. Well, I almost tried defending this. Like this is essentially cucking yourself. All right, you're essentially cucking yourself. You're getting turned on watching someone else bang someone you find attractive. I don't have anything against gay people, but that's almost gay. When you really think about it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but a lot of times these people are the same people who try preaching ultra masculinity, like like what the hell is that shit called? What's that shit called? When they say like, what's that thing? Damn. Oh, there you go. Homophobia. You know what I mean? Like these would be the same people like leaving homophobic comments under like TikToks or YouTube videos, this, that, and the third, like trying to pretend to be cool to like dislike people for their preference. And the whole time they're doing weird shit like this. All right. It's like, come on, bro. What's going on? But enough belittling people who do this stuff because there are countless videos of people saying that. All right, it's countless videos as to why porn is bad for you. It's countless videos as to why video games are bad for you. What I'm here to tell you is that there is a positive to this, which if you haven't read it, is that you do have motivation. Motivation does exist inside of you. If you're doing these things, well, there's a motivation behind it. Video games, it's very simple. You want to level up, conquest, exploration. And then this right here, very simple as well. I mean, you want to attracted to the opposite sex. And you want to get closer to the opposite sex. You want to be more intimate with the opposite sex, which is a very healthy and normal desire. All right, no matter what people say. The only problem with both of these desires and motivations, which are very healthy, is that you're putting it in the wrong outlet. This is the wrong outlet. This is the wrong way to go about it. All right, because not only does nothing come to you as a result, but because these are such hyper-stimulating activities, such hyper-stimulating habits, your dopamine like ends up lowering your baseline level. And to put it into simple terms, your motivation just that's why you say you have no motivation. You don't feel like doing nothing because these habits are so easily accessible. It's like, why even bother going outside? Why even bother talking to women? Why even bother going to work out when you can just turn on my Xbox, turn on my PS4, and just get right to it? So the fix is replacement. It's not you just cut out the habit and just don't do anything because you're either going to end up doing something even worse or you're just going to go right back to the habit. Now, you don't just cut off habits because there's still energy there. There's still energy to be transferred. It's almost like it reminds me of the saying energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred. It can only be moved to another spot. And this is very much the case with replacing these habits. All right. You just replace the outlet with a more productive one. And the number one habit, I know it's cliche. I know people say it all the time. I know some of you might be like, oh my God, it's the same thing. Just hear me out and just listen closely. All right. Because just pay attention. Working out. All right. It's cliche, but it is very much for a reason because this pretty much covers both of them. All right. Because here's the thing. I could tell you if you're addicted to this stuff, just go outside and improve your social skills. And you still can do so. The problem with this is that if I just tell you, just go outside and just go talk to women, because you've been doing this for so long, I'm sorry, but you are like at the bottom of the barrel. And don't let that discourage you into thinking, oh man, like I'm doomed. It's all doom and gloom. It's not doom and gloom. You just have a long way to go. And it would be like, you know, for you to be at this level, like, oh, just go outside and just start talking to women. It would be like me telling you, oh, just go bench 315. And you ain't never benched 315 before. Not that it's extremely difficult, it takes time and effort, but you're just not in the right place, man. We gotta ease you back into the world little by little, right? So working out covers pretty much both of those habits because working out is leveling up. Every time you get stronger, you're leveling up, you get in better shape, your confidence increases, you become more attractive. Now people are more attractive to you to the point where you might get people smiling at you now. You might get people who actually come up to you first. Because that happens plenty of times when I originally got into the best shape of my life. It's happened recently, with this picture right here. So it covers pretty much everything. And it's just a very, very, very solid habit to have in your life. It's pretty much essential too. Like, there was this point in time where I didn't like talking about the gym, whether it be on here or on Instagram, because it's like everybody talks about it. I think people are tired of it. But then I thought to myself, if people are tired of hearing about it, because here's the thing, I'm not even like someone who's yelling at you, like we go gym. I don't consider myself like a. I guess I do consider myself a bodybuilder, but not like one of those where it's like this is my entire personality and like this is all I care about. But this is something that I deeply, 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 deeply care about. Like I don't see myself as like one of those TikTokers. Like I remember there was this period of time where everyone was screaming in the camera, "We go gym, we go." And that's just not my style. All right, I like motivational speeches and I like hyping people up, but not in that way. I don't know if you guys exactly understand what I mean, but the point is that I kind of had like that fear in the back of my mind, like, oh, I don't know if I want to tell people this. Let's see if I can think of something else, but this is an essential habit. My father recently showed me a TikTok where it was in Spanish, but in English it translated to, a man who doesn't take time out of his day to go work out, to go take care of his body, will later on have to take time out of his day and out of his life to go to the doctors, to go to the hospital, to possibly even go to the emergency room. All right. And it's very much true. You make your choice. All right. You want to deal with it now or you want to deal with it later? You want to pay the price now or you want to pay the price later? All right. You want to pay the price now of suffering through those brutal, hard, intense workouts to where now the future you is healthy, strong, confident, attractive, or you want to just keep putting it off, saying that it's a waste of time, and now all of a sudden all your time is being wasted in the doctors and in the ER and in all these rooms that you should have never been in had you just made the choice to delay gratification. All right. I know this got deep, but working out is essential, man. Working out is an essential part of life, and I hate the fact that I had this fear for so long of talking about it, or like not talking about it, but like emphasizing it so much, and it being such a passion of mine because it's a genuine passion. Like it should change my life, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I cut out bad habits. There were bad habits that were holding me back. What do you think I replaced them with? I've just told you. You know what I mean? Like this should change my life, man. And I just wanted to change yours, especially if you're like this guy. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna say exactly what, but when you're this down bad, you're only thinking of one thing. You know what it is. All right. If this is you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I can't say it because of rules and regulations, but this is a very dark place to be in, guys. All right, very dark place. I'm not saying this for sympathy. I'm saying this because I know what it's like, and all I want to do is help out others who are in this exact same position because I am beyond grateful that I made it to here. There was a good chance that I wouldn't have. Oops, excuse me. And another thing too is that let's say you already work out, or even if you don't work out, it doesn't even have to be the gym. All right, I say the gym because it's the most accessible, simplest, and like this is the one that genuinely will get you in better shape. Whereas in like more muscles and you look more attractive. This can get you in shape too as well. Hiking, going for walks outside, mountain climbing, like this stuff still works. It's still exercise, and it still fulfills like that conquest, that desire for not conquest, exploration. Even something as simple as going for walks outside your house. Like, the point is that you want to get up. You want to get up and you want to get active. This isn't, you don't replace it. I mean, technically you could with like, oh, I don't know, studying, which is still very good, especially if you're a student. I mean, that's literally what you need to do. But this is more of like a universal replacement. You know what I mean? Like whether you're working a full-time job, whether you're studying, working out. All right, working out and getting active. Now, here are just some tips to make the transition smoother because I know some people are going to be like, oh, but it's hard. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. For video games, bro, you're spending a good amount of your time on this. You're probably broke anyway. Just sell the consoles. Just sell what you're playing it on. Now, if you're playing it on PC, I've never been a PC gamer. I never was and I never will be. But just uninstall all the apps, whether it be Steam or whatever else, Epic Games Launcher. I don't know. I've never really been a PC gamer. And as for Corn, if you really need to install extensions, block these websites from you being able to access these websites. But honestly, these are kind of like slapping a band-aid on an open wound. Not is that the right saying? Yeah, it's just like slapping a band-aid. Like, okay, it covers it, but does it really heal it? Like, did it really do anything? I don't know if that's the perfect analogy. I feel like I'm getting the analogy wrong. But basically, what I'm saying is that these are tactics. Like these are like logical ways of thinking. They aren't gonna cover everything though. Like this isn't the fix to it all. Because you can sell your consoles. What's stopping you from buying another one? Or what's stopping you from going to your friend's house and playing on his? Which is why none of these compare to the golden tip, which is changing your identity. So I want you to take a look again at these two pictures right here. Okay. I have some questions for you. Who would you guess is addicted to bad habits? Who would you think is addicted to junk food, video games, eating pizza, eating chips? Who do you think? Hmm? Think it's this guy? Yeah, it might be this guy. Now, who do you think is more disciplined and hardworking? Oops, it's gotta be this guy, right? You guys get the point. Like, you don't even really need to think about it too much. You already know. You could just tell. Like, even if we weren't to look at the physique, right? Let's just say I was about to put my hands in front, but it won't cover the picture for you guys. Even if we were to just look at these two guys' faces, even though this guy's not looking at the camera, you can just tell that there's something different. And some of you might think that I'm glazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this guy's eyes are so fucking amazing. But it's the truth. Like this guy looks like he's ready to go to bed and never wake up. This guy look like he got a plan though. This guy look like he ready to fuck some shit up. And it's very much the truth. The problem with this guy right here, let's just say this guy, right? We want to get him to get into the best shape of his life. We want to get him to improve and leave all these bad habits behind. The problem is that this guy sees himself as a loser. And I don't mean this to be condescending. I don't mean this to be rude, but rightfully so. Like it makes sense as to why. Because of his habits. You know what I mean? Just look at him. Like this guy does this guy reek of awesomeness? Why the hell was that the first word that came to mind? Does this guy does this guy look like someone who exudes excellence? Does this guy look like someone who's excellent at what he does? Obviously, there's always that exception. That one guy who's depressed, but he's really good at what he does. But more often than not, no. This guy looks like he fucking sucks. All right, this guy looks like he's a bad student, bad worker, just overall not a good guy to have around. A liability more than an asset. All right. So because of this, And because deep down he identifies as a loser, any any type of progress, any attempts to make progress, you're fighting an unnecessary uphill battle. And to some of you who want to pretend you're David Goggins, you might think, oh, that's awesome. Oh, I want to fight. I want more struggles. I want more battles. What's going to happen, excuse me, is that you're just not going to make any fucking progress. All right. Because it's almost like Hamza used this analogy once. It's like a rubber band. All right. Is your identity. You can pull it all the way to the top. But if you still see yourself down here, it's just going to snap back right here. It's going to snap back exactly where it once was. So you have to change your identity. I mean, this guy sees himself as a loser. This guy still sees himself as a loser. I thought this slide was going to be the next guy. And it puts you in this mode of trying, of like, instead of saying that you will, it's like, oh, I need to stop, or I'm going to, or this and that and the third, where it's like deep down, you're not going to do it. Like, this version of you can't do it. And it's all well intentioned, like you really want to stop these bad habits. But with this identity and the way you view yourself, it's just bound to fail, unfortunately. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. This is the way you look at it. All right. Instead of saying I need to stop doing this or I'm trying to stop, I don't. I don't watch that bullshit. I don't play that bullshit. I don't waste time on that bullshit. And you just follow through. And now some of you might already be thinking, but I did it yesterday. But I did it this morning. Well, you don't do it anymore. That's simple. And the key thing is that this sounds wishy-washy and it sounds weird. It sounds silly, but it works as long as you do. All right, because here's what I don't want you to do. Now, this is bound to happen if you were borderline addicted to something, and then you were trying to cut it cold turkey the next day. All right. So I'm not telling you to immediately like lose all hope if you relapse or if you face a setback where like you said you weren't going to do something, you stop doing it for a couple of days and you ended up doing it again. All right. What you really need to do, what really cements this identity, is the actions you take. It's where you say, all right, we don't watch that stuff anymore. And then you don't watch it. You don't watch it one day, you don't watch it the next day, you don't watch it the next day. Don't track it. Because now you're gonna be on the streak, and the moment that streak breaks, and the moment you see that streak break, because once you start tracking it, it becomes a part of your identity, and you're gonna be a weirdo if you do that. Right? Like imagine if I was still tracking the days I went without jacking off. Like you shouldn't even be thinking about that to begin with. That's the thing. Like you don't want to like this isn't working out. You don't want to track this stuff. Oh, I didn't play video games today. Yeah. Like, there's people who haven't played video games in years, dude. There's people who haven't even like they don't even think about playing video games. They're too busy thinking about their own business. They're too busy thinking about how to provide for their family. So for you to be like, I didn't play video games today. It's been day 15. Shut the fuck up. You don't want to go about it that way. You just simply don't do it. You don't do it. You don't track it. You just don't do it. I don't waste time on social media. And then just don't use social media. Instead, replace it with going to the gym, working on your business, whatever floats your boat, all right, whatever is more productive for you, whatever works for you. And as you guys see, like I didn't even realize I wrote exactly what I said. I didn't make a calendar for this stuff. I didn't make a checklist. I just saw myself as someone who didn't do it. Simple as that. Right? Even if I did it the day before. Like, oh, like didn't you do it last night? Yeah, but I don't do it anymore. That's not who I am. It's not. I'm not trying. I'm not. Oh, I'm fighting uphill. One day I will stop. No, I don't do it, and then I just never did it again. Like this, have not done in years. This same thing. This same thing. It's like it's all behind me now. It's all behind me. And when you do this, when you follow through with the tasks, all right, let me be clear. I had this I haven't done in years. I don't know why I said I haven't done these in years either. But in terms of addictedness, like, because I played some video games recently. I'm talking like a couple of months ago. And social media, it occasionally happens. But like to where I was before, like, I was like spending hours on these platforms. It's long behind me because I don't identify as someone who does that. I still have Instagram. I still like sharing what I've learned from fitness and from life in general and whatnot. But I'm not someone who like I don't see myself as a social media addict. I don't see myself as someone who's constantly scrolling on TikTok and social media, just wasting hours on it. I use it as it is, a tool. Simple as that. And as a result, because I told myself I don't do this stuff and follow through, your self-respect increases dramatic. Like it increases greatly because now you said you were somebody and you follow through. Sounds like, you know what I'm saying? I'm that guy. Like what I say goes. No matter what I say, it goes. And I even wrote this. Like I'm not recording this at 3:37 a.m. But all this stuff right here, I wrote at 3:37 a.m. Like I kipped up out of bed like Shawn Michaels. Show you a quick gif. Like literally like that. That's how I got out of bed this morning. I wrote this stuff because this is who I am now. I identify as someone who works hard, who provides for his people, who teaches what he's learned in hopes of helping change other people's lives. Because I don't see the point in having this transformation, going from this to this, without teaching other people how to do the exact same. So this is a beautiful piece of advice I can give you. It's genuinely life changing. Like look at me, man. I don't know why I didn't even talk about this picture, but look at me. I'm smiling. You know what I'm saying? Like, does this guy look like he smiles? No, he doesn't. Amen. So it's pretty much a summary. Unless you're staring at the wall all day, you have levels of motivation. And I'm here to tell you, man, most of you are not staring at the wall all day. All right? Most of you aren't sitting in a room in absolute boredom. You're distracting yourself with something. And that desire, that motivation to go about said bad habit shows that you do have healthy levels of motivation. You just are putting it in the wrong outlet. You got to change the way you view yourself, change the way you think about yourself, and then follow through. Instead of saying, okay, I have to quit this, or I'm trying to quit this, or, I'm trying to give up video games. I don't play. I don't play that bullshit. And then just follow through. Follow through. And as you can see, this was 2022. Again, like, just look awful, man. Just look awful. I just look tired, look sleep deprived, just look lost. Like, I'm not even talking about my physique. My physique, I'm gonna be honest here, it actually doesn't look that bad. Like, there's obviously some work to be done around the midsection, but my physique doesn't look the worst. Like, I've seen much worse physiques. Like, I've seen people, like dudes who have like legit boobs, which is, it's very sad to see. Like, it's almost like traumatizing though. Like, you're a man. Why the fuck? Why are your pecs hanging that way? Because I have a little bit of gyno, but thankfully I've been blessed and I have a tremendous amount. So it's not even the physique; it's just my face, man. Just look at me. Like I don't even know if I can replicate that face. I don't even think I can anymore. Like that's how bad it was. Like I was just in a completely different zone. And then you look at me here. Look, I even have an ice cream sundae. All right, I'm not the super healthiest guy in this picture, but look at me, man. My arms are hugging my sleeve. I mean, my sleeves are hugging my arms. I'm happy. I'm smiling. You can't see my eyes for shit because they're just really tiny for whatever reason. I just look like oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. Shout out my boy Sal for taking this picture. I changed my life. Changed my life, and I want to help you change yours. And that is all I got for you guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope this helped. I hope this all helped you out. Have a beautiful day, man. Take